Does opting out of our corrupted political system work? I'm sorry to say, not really. David Adkins, a campaign worker for the Democratic Party, described the phenomenon in a 2014 article. The people who say they're going to punish politicians by not voting are just deluded. You're not punishing anyone. You just fall off our radar. We stop caring about you at all. He goes on to describe how the party categorizes voters. A 3x3 voter is someone who voted Democrat in the last 3 elections. They're basically a lock, and the party doesn't have to worry much about them. Next are the 2x3 and 1x3 voters. The party spends more money and effort trying to get these voters to the polls. They're considered unreliable, but they're also considered important. The 0x3s, on the other hand, are basically worthless, according to Democratic Party logic. Since 0x3s can't be moved to vote, it is seen as a much better use of resources to reach out to conservative seniors who might switch their vote. This is one way non-voters help push the Democrats to become more like Republicans. In another article, Atkins says, whether it be in 1994, 2000, or 2010, the Democratic Party always responds to significant electoral defeat by moving rightward. With fewer people voting, it becomes easier and easier to maintain the status quo and keep power in the hands of the few. Checking out does not enhance our power. Noam Chomsky discusses this phenomenon in detail. Modern democratic theory, going all the way back to Walter Lippmann nearly 100 years ago, views the general population as a dangerous mobocracy. Those in power would much rather have the public as spectators than participants. Lippmann described people like you and me as the bewildered herd, who are meant to be kept in line by responsible men. Elections, according to this view, are not meant to decide important policy choices, but rather to ratify decisions already made. Some conservative ideologues like Michael Joyce follow this logic even further. Since elections don't decide important policy questions, Joyce reasons, it makes sense to abandon the political arena altogether. Joyce suggests going to church or joining the PTA. Another popular alternative we are encouraged to use is market democracy, where we vote with what we buy. By becoming educated consumers, we are rewarding the good and punishing the bad through the power of the marketplace. Chomsky is quick to point out that there's nothing inherently wrong with joining the PTA or any of these other things, but simply dumping electoral politics is self-defeating. As Chomsky says, if you abandon the political arena, somebody's going to be there. Corporations aren't going to go home and join the PTA. They're going to run things. And that is precisely what's happening. If you give up on electoral politics, all you're doing is helping concentrate power in the hands of the already powerful. The powerful love it when we feel impotent. The political class loves it too. It makes it so much easier for them to keep their jobs. When we're dispirited and cynical about our ability to make change or hold our leaders accountable for their actions, we are much less likely to make waves. As the famous activist Saul Alinsky once said, if people don't think they have the power to change a bad situation, why waste time even thinking about it? Despair is a legitimate reaction to today's political climate. It seems so hopeless, so why bother? Because it is not hopeless. I realize that we have a long uphill climb ahead of us, but we can reach the top of this mountain. It is more than possible for the majority to change things for the better for ourselves in this country. I believe that, and so should you. Please give a like, follow, favorite, and subscribe to my free Substack. Let's make them pay. Tiki.